Oh yeah!
Hello lovelies, I'm terrible at pimping my stuff, so here I am, pimping my stuff. Please like, subscribe, and most important of all, share, so that people can discover me and all the wonders that I offer. A kind viewer and fan, knowing my love of strange and odd things, sent me a copy of the Deck of Weird Things for Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Cards, cartomancy, the tarot, these have often held a fascination for anyone with a passing interest in the occult, and certainly in gaming, because since very early days we've had the Deck of Many Things and its wildly unpredictable and random set of effects. In my own campaign over on Errotech, the Bag of Beans has served a similar purpose by introducing a gigantic black pyramid to the game that I had no previous intention of incorporating. These decks, these cards, these randomizers are often there as a temptation for the players because they know there are good, or at least interesting things, squirreled away within the deck when they draw a card. But they also introduce a huge element of randomness that can upend your entire campaign, as with gigantic black pyramids appearing early in your campaign and disrupting the things you had in mind. This can encourage you to be adaptable as a games master, and it can sow distrust and unease amongst the players, which is something that Raji definitely seems to be in favour of in this book. Now, whereas something like, say, the Tarocca deck within D&D, that's more of a tarot deck, or the Deck of Many Things, where each and every card is something very individual. The Deck of Many Weird Things, or the Deck of Weird Things, uses a standard card deck, which seems a little bit odd because tarot cards aren't exactly hard to come by these days, and are certainly much more evocative than a regular card deck. But then again, the tarot cards were originally supposed to have been used as a game, not for divination, and ordinary playing cards have been used for divination as well, as have any other number of card games or sets of cards like Koi Koi or whatever else you care to mention. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, it's just a little mundane considering everything we know about Lamentations of the Flame Princess and the idea that it's a deck of weird things. So you've got everything defined for a whole set of cards, you've got some introductions on how to use it. He suggests introducing it early, having it be one of the first treasures that people happen across. It's a little bit disappointing in that there is no actual deck of cards. Producing decks of cards is now extremely easy to do. Print on demand is very much available for cards as much, if not more, than it is for books. Drive-Thru RPG offers print-on-demand card services. Other companies offer print-on-demand card services, and failing that, you can always just give people a printout of a set of cards that they can cut out, glue together, whatever else it is they need to do themselves. And given that this uses a standard card deck, there's not an awful lot of art that you would need to commission in order to do that. You just really need to do the face cards and the designs for hearts, clubs, diamonds and spades. And the book does contain several pieces of card art that are perfectly usable for a set of cards and are really quite nice. So why there's no actual deck of cards, I don't know, because most of the work here is already done. And it wouldn't take that much extra investment of money or time or effort to turn the Deck of Weird Things into an actual Deck of Weird Things. So I don't know why that hasn't been done, but it hasn't, and that's definitely a knock against this. I mean, the original Deck of Many Things never had an actual card deck to start with. There was one given away with Dragon magazine, I think, later on, and other versions and imitations have come through in cards. But given the focus of Lamentations on high quality product, artistic product, and so on, the absence of an actual deck is quite jarring. As to the effect themselves, they tend towards the negative and the horrifying a bit more than usual. Those that are positive are fairly quirky. Now I'm recording this live, so let's just randomize 3 cards so I can give you 3 effects. Let's see, the 9 of Spades. Just as examples. 9 of Spades. Combat issues. The drawer can never hit an opponent or inflict damage with a blunt weapon. So, weird little quirky curse there. 5 of Clubs. Let's have a look. 5 of Clubs. You gain a follower. A middle-aged labourer finds himself drawn into your service. He's a nasty piece of work, antisocial, alcoholic, and just a real drag to be around. But presumably quite useful. But the fates have drawn him to you. Let's see, King of Clubs. King of Clubs. Every time the drawer is brought to 0 or fewer hit points and survives, their maximum hit points are reduced by 1. Well, that sounds like a pretty good idea for a rule anyway for me. Let me just look, see if I can find anything positive. That's all negative. That's negative. That's negative. That's negative. Okay, this is more interesting at least. Ace of Spades. The drawer becomes an artificial automaton. She regains her consciousness and will, but her body is no longer flesh. It looks like flesh, feels like flesh, and in most cases behaves like flesh, but it isn't. The body cannot heal itself, it must be repaired by the most skilled of craftsmen, and this will cost 100 silver pieces per hit point to be repaired. The good news is that the body will have to be completely obliterated to cause permanent death. Otherwise, even the most damaged body can be repaired and consciousness restored once the drawer's hit points are restored to above 0. The drawer no longer has to eat or drink and becomes immune to poisons and disease unless they specifically do hit point damage. Healing magic does not function on the drawer. So, not exactly positive, but certainly not negative. So, style. There's no actual deck of cards, and I know I keep banging on about that, but it is a problem, I think, when you have a reputation for producing high quality product and books and so on, and then you don't take the step to produce the cards. And as a result, the illustrations are kind of sparse, and there's not really a great deal of point to the book being in colour or in hardback. This could have been an extended series of blog posts, really. So, style 3, substance 3. With a decent deck of cards to go along with it, that would rise. And if each card had its own individual illustration, that would rise even more. But as it stands, deeply average. Useful, inspiring. You might want to use the cards and the card draws for other things, like curses, quirks, things laid upon your character by vengeful enemies with access to magic, that sort of thing. Could be more useful on that basis, but as it stands, a disappointingly average product from Lamentations. Sang. A problem for every games master has always been coming up with adventure ideas. For years now, Postmortem Studios has been helping out with the 100 Adventure Seeds line. These provide adventure ideas for all genres, and you can get them at RPG Now or Lulu.com.